Hi, I'm Rommell Wallace. I'm the co-founder and director of Serious About Youth, or S.A.Y for short. We're a South London, Croydon-based social enterprise, but we work all across London, and the aim is to help young people into positive outcomes. And we have a bit of a specialism in the construction sector. I'll tell you a bit of both. I'll tell you once how I came into this type of work, full stop, and then the construction sector. So I first came into this realm of employability, helping people into work, because I needed help initially getting into work myself. So when I was at university, I was having difficulty finding my placement in my third year. I was studying, doing a sandwich course, and I ended up going to a charity in Northwest London that helped people into work. Loved what they'd done. Ended up doing my placement with them, and then I worked for them for about 12 years in the sector, learning about how to help people into work and different aspects of running an organisation. And then in 2010, me and my lifelong friend Paul Matthews, we grew up together, went to school together. We started Serious About Youth because we wanted to do something that helped young people, because there was a lot going on at the time about like kind of knife crime and youth murders and stuff like that. So we just wanted to try and do something to do our bit, really. So we started doing workshops in schools and colleges. That developed into us developing our own programs. Paul actually works as an engineer in the construction sector, so he's a technical lead engineer for Lang O'Rourke. So through his own personal journey and experience working in the sector, we understood the skill shortage in the sector, the fact that the sector needs more diversity, but also the opportunity in it. That's a really great sector. There's a lot of roles and opportunities that young people don't know about. So we wanted to try and engage young people from underrepresented backgrounds and disadvantaged backgrounds for them to be aware of the opportunities in construction. So that's really how we got into doing work specifically in the construction sector. I think the main challenge is, well, as far as some of the problems that we know about, we know that there's a big skill shortage in the sector. So as far as the pipeline of work for the next 10, 20 years, and the amount of labour and people with the kind of skills coming into the sector, as well as like thinking about those that are retiring, there's a big mismatch, there's a massive skills gap there. So that's one problem that's there. That problem has only been exacerbated by Brexit. So not being able to get that supply of labour from like Europe so easily. So that's one of the main problems facing the sector, but I also see it as a massive opportunity as well, because I think that therefore makes it much more of a necessity to engage demographics that the sector hasn't traditionally engaged well. Overall, it's traditionally seen as a kind of white male dominated sector. So I think being able to engage better underrepresented groups, those from a BAME background, women, those with disabilities, etc., engaging groups that they haven't maybe engaged so well in the past, I see actually as a massive opportunity. So that will be, there's if the sector can engage those groups better, that can provide really great opportunities for young people, UK, resident young people to progress into the sector, because the sector needs it. Young people need it with the kind of cost of living crisis, etc. So I think that's one of the main problems, but I also see it as a massive opportunity actually for UK young people and for the sector to better engage demographics that hasn't traditionally engaged well. I think one of the things I've always really respected and commended the LCP framework for is that you really are trying to change or drive innovation and change. So I think the fact that you're a framework and that you have, if you want to say the kind of the influence contractually to build these types of things in, that's I think a massive opportunity. So, and the fact that you're doing that, it's not just lip service. You're really trying to show the importance of social value and try to encourage contractors to actually effectively do that and take real steps to engage in groups they haven't engaged well and implement social value in their projects. So I think LCP is really important. Having that influence has the people setting the contracts, setting up these opportunities, and building it in at that level, I think is really important, because that's where change is going to happen. If it's just a nice to do thing, it's not going to happen. I think when it's contractual, when it affects finances, that's when there's going to be real change. Well, again, I was really, if you want to say, honoured to actually be given the opportunity to input into the framework, into the social value questions, and just making sure that the way that the social value kind of KPIs were framed, the kind of expectations of contractors, were they realistic? Were they challenging enough? Were they stretching contractors to actually take real steps? So I was kind of looking at both sides of it. Want it to be things that are achievable by contractors, but also things that kind of stretch them to really take action. So my input was to kind of review the kind of questions and that part of the application process, and give some input into what would work well for the contractors.